Hello, beautiful creatures. I am so excited to be bringing you the second installment of my astrology series here on the channel, and on my birthday, no less. Yes, today it is my birthday. I'm turning 25, and that does make me a Taurus, so I'm so excited about this video. To start, let's talk about Taurus. Of course, I'm going to be a little bit biased because I am a Taurus and I am obsessed with Tauruses, but Taurus is the first earth sign in the Zodiac and the first of the material girls, represented by the bull. The Tauruses in your life are probably the ones you go to when you need grounding, cautious determination, or want to eat copious amounts of snacks. I know that in my friend group, I am definitely the snack master. I always have snacks on hand, and I do think it's so apt, the stereotype that Tauruses love snacking. So that's very me. Tauruses are ruled by the planet Venus, which lends itself to the sensual, the creative, and the obsessed with all things beauty. Being one of the 6 negative polarity signs, Taurus is considered a passive or feminine sign. Although I consider Taurus to be, on many occasions, very stubborn and grounded, Taurus and their love for nature, beauty, and the material world lends itself to a feminine alignment. Taurus is also a fixed sign, which is where all those cliches about being stubborn and resistant to change come from. So let's talk about character design. I'm really wanting to lean into that bull symbol for Taurus, just as I did with ram for Aries. I love all things green and earthy, which is super convenient as the colors most often associated with Taurus are greens, golds, and browns. So it's like they picked my color palette for me already. And I also want to use a lot of earthy elements, so I'm definitely going to be pulling out the moss flocking and seeing how I can get that involved in my doll. I also want to play up those feminine energies associated with Taurus and their relationship to Venus and beauty, so hopefully I can create a really beautiful doll with all these elements in mind. I got a great comment on my last astrology doll that suggested I place each sign symbol on the body part that is associated with said sign. So for Taurus, this is the neck, throat, and chest. For me, I think this is really funny because whenever I get sick with a cold or something along those lines, it's always my throat that goes down first. Like, that's the center in my body which holds that brunt of the cold. But with this in mind, I know my doll will be including the Taurus symbol somewhere on that chest and neck area. So for obvious reasons, we're beginning with some armature wire and milliput to create some bull horns. I'm inspired by the Highland cow for my horns shape here. Just because both genders of the Highland cow have horns, it's not just the bulls that have horns. So I think that makes it super cute and lends itself to doll creation because a lot of the doll bodies that I have available to me are femme bodies. So I just quickly sculpted out some long horns inspired by that Highland cow. After 4 hours of dry time, the milliput had set and it was ready to set my head on a body. I'm using an Ever After High body just because I used an Ever After High body on my Aries doll and I want there to be some continuation. But this does mean I will be needing to do a color swap on the face. I thought about leaving it green because it is a color associated with Taurus, but I changed my mind for better or worse to do a skin tone change using the pastel method. I would love to know if you have any other methods that you suggest. Drop them down below because the pastel method drives me crazy. But after several layers of Mr. Super Clear and pastel in an array of flesh tones, I came to a nice warm flesh tone that I was really happy with and I could begin my face up. As always with my face up method, I like to start with some base shapes and sketch in the rough shapes of the features, and then I just keep building up detail and color depth with extra layers of Mr. Super Clear in between. For this doll's face up, I'm definitely leaning into the nature side of Taurus. Being an earth sign, I want earthy colors, really simple greens and dark browns, and I want to do a really natural lip, really glossy, to kind of embody that real natural beauty that I tend to associate with Venus ruled signs like Taurus and Libra. when I woke up the next morning, the face color change had sort of oxidized a couple shades darker, so I did need to darken up the Ever After High body to match, which is no problem. Body changing is a lot quicker than face changing in my experience. And then I needed to go ahead and place that Taurus symbol on the neck chest area. And then to finish up the horns, I went ahead and made a bone colored acrylic mix and just slapped it on there. And with the face up complete, it is time to move on to the hair. Just like my Aries doll, I am going to be using one of those multicolored balls of yarn, this one in earth tones, and I'm just going to go ahead and brush it out and hopefully get enough length. Although I intend to curl these wefts, I did go ahead and straighten them as usual with this method, just so they were nice and sleek for when I glued them on. Due to the nature of yarn wefts, I ended up with a lot of different lengths in weft and thicknesses, and due to that multicolored yarn ball that I used, a lot of different blends. So this hair is going to be very swampy. It's going to have greens, browns, some ashy grays, all kinds of colors in there at all different varying lengths. So completing the hair, I had something like this. I did need to, of course, add some baby hairs to soften up that hairline and style it so that the horns were the main show, not this big amount of hair. To do so, I just did some braids down the side, and then I knew I wanted to curl the back just because of the different lengths and layers that I had going on due to my yarn wefts. To do so, I used the chopstick method, in which I actually used a bamboo skewer because I wanted a nice tight wave. To do so, I just wrapped the hair weft while attached to the doll's head around the bamboo skewer, and then took the heat from my styling iron to fix the fibers in that curled shape like you would with your own hair, and this is how it turned out. Using that same skewer, I just broke up the curls so that it had more volume and more texture and kind of became more frizzy. Moving on to my outfit, I just grabbed all of my greens and browns and golds that had an autumnal vibe or different kind of textures. So velvets, some ribbons, some lace. And I wanted to put together a really cute fairy skirt, kind of inspired by this Free People skirt. To do so, I went ahead and cut thin strips of a bunch of different kinds of fabrics and a waistband out of a cotton fabric, and then I just needed to attach them right sides together and sew along the seam. It looks pretty crazy in its pinning stage because it takes a lot more volume than you think to create this kind of skirt, but it was really easy to sew together. Here is the finished fairy skirt. It is pretty intense and crazy and voluminous. It looks like a sea creature when it's not on the doll, but on the doll it looks super cute and whimsical and forest fairy energy, which I love for the Taurus doll. And I love this waistband as I can wear it low on the hips or higher up. As for the top, as I want to show off that Taurus sign, I'm just going with a simple piece of velvet tied together to look like a bandeau top, just so that you can see that symbol. And at this stage, I was super happy with how this outfit was coming together. It's super simplistic and feminine, which is kind of how I would consider Taurus's energy to be. So I went ahead and added a little belly gem just because I thought that was so cute, and Tauruses are all about that luxury material girl life. They're about beauty, and I thought a little embellishment like that would kind of work for the Taurus. And then I wanted to, of course, include that moss flocking. So I'm going to go ahead and focus it around the neck, chest, shoulder area, just due to the relationship between Taurus and that part of the body. I also went ahead and added some flocking to the ankles, kind of like ankle bands, to create a sort of shoe. And then using my loose flocking powder, I just filled in the gaps between the larger tufts of moss and grass to create some sort of transition between the larger clumps of moss and the skin. With the moss completed and added to the little bull horns as well, we're up to the finishing steps such as glossing the lips and eyes. And then on a whim, I had this idea to use this faux suede fabric that I had from an old jacket that I've used to create doll clothes before, to create a jacket for this doll. I'm going with a really simple shape, kind of a wanderer in the forest kind of jacket with a wide bell sleeve and some simple stitching. The final step to any Taurus outfit is, of course, accessorizing. So I wanted to embellish this jacket with some beadwork. I don't know the first thing about beadwork, so I just wanted to do it real simple around the edge of the jacket so that it kind of brightened up the doll. And as a final step, I went ahead and added several little jump rings to her neck to look like a multitude of necklaces. And with that complete, my little Taurus doll, Taurus goddess I should say, is complete. I'm absolutely obsessed with this little earthy bull goddess. I love her horns and I love her multicolored hair, and I love the little beading on her jacket. She is just so sweet and cute and ethereal, and I think she sums up that earth goddess energy that the Taurus has really, really well. And I'm so excited to be having my birthday, as it is Taurus season, and today I get to see my darling friends and celebrate 25 years on this planet. So thank you so much for celebrating with me by watching this video. And to all my fellow Tauruses, happy soon-to-be birthday or belated birthday. I hope you guys have a great Taurus season. I hope you guys love my interpretation of the Taurus zodiac. And here she is with her Aries co-part. I'm so excited to keep doing this series. I love these two so far. I think they look really cohesive, like they're from the same world. And I'm having so much fun talking about astrology with you guys in the comments. So if you enjoyed today's video and you're enjoying our astrology hangs, do hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here and you want to keep up with the series, and leave me a comment down below on what you're getting up to today on my birthday. What are you doing on the 24th of April? How's it going? And as always, I'll see you so soon back here with more crafts and more curios.